Hello everybody, welcome to part 2 of my Production Possibilities Frontiers stuff. Here I'm going to talk about what happens when there's increasing opportunity costs. And so I've created a little model where I will compare the decision between producing corn and producing motorcycles. And I have two main goals in this video. One of them is to remind you how to calculate opportunity cost. The other is to explain why opportunity costs are usually increasing. Now, if you don't know what a PPF is, Production Possibilities Frontier, or if you forget what opportunity cost is, go watch part 1 first. It's pretty short, but without that knowledge, a lot of what I'm going to say here isn't going to make much sense. So, in part 1, I did a PPF with a 1-to-1 trade-off and a straight line between them. With a situation like this, however, it's more likely that our Production Possibilities Frontier looks something more like this, where it's bowed out. And the reason that matters is because that suggests that the opportunity cost between motorcycles and corn is always changing. So let's draw a few points on here. Let's draw one there, let's draw one there, and let's draw one there. And we'll connect them, so there, and there, and there. So we can either make 1,000 units of corn and no motorcycles, or we can make 950 units of corn and 25 motorcycles, or we can make 800 units of corn and 50 motorcycles, or we can make 450 units of corn, 75 motorcycles, or we could have 0 units of corn and 100 motorcycles. Now, this isn't to scale and it's not very artistic. This is a low budget video, but it should hopefully get the point across. Let's label some of these points also. We'll call this one the 1,000 and 0, we'll call that point A. The 950 and 25, we'll call that point B. The 850, we'll call that point C. The 450 and 75, we'll call point D. And the 0 and 100, we'll call point E. Now, in this situation, our opportunity cost is going to be different between each point because the trade-off is constantly changing. Let me give you some example. If you want to calculate the opportunity cost, let's see, opportunity cost from A to B. Let's say it's the opportunity cost of a motorcycle, M for motorcycle. Change in corn, which is our numerator, is going to be 950 in point B, minus 1,000 in point A, which comes out to be minus 50 in the change from A to B. The change in motorcycles from point A to B, it's 25 in B minus 0 in A equals 25. And so the opportunity cost from A to B is the change in corn over the change in motorcycles is minus 50 divided by 25 equals minus 2 units of corn per motorcycle. Yeah, that's kind of that. Now we could do this again to go from point B to point C. So we know from point A to point B the opportunity cost of motorcycles is minus 2 corn per motorcycle. What about from B to C? Well, the change in corn from B to C, from 950 to 800, it falls by 150. 800 minus 950 is minus 150. Motorcycles increase by 25. And so the change in corn over the change in motorcycles is 100 minus 150 over 25 comes out to negative 6. What about from point C to point D? 450 minus 800 is minus 350. 75 minus 50 is 25. So minus 350 divided by 25 is minus 14. And from D to E, corn falls by 450. Minus 450 over 25 is 18. All right, and so we get this opportunity cost from A to B is minus 2, from B to C is minus 6, from C to D is 14, from D to E is minus 18. So what does that tell us? It tells us that as we increase our motorcycle production, corn is always decreasing because we're shifting along this curve, but is decreasing faster and faster. It goes down a little bit, and then it goes down a little bit more, and then it goes down a lot more, and then it goes down a lot more. So as motorcycles increase, corn starts falling off faster and faster. That's increasing opportunity cost, and that will be present whenever our production possibility frontier has this bowed out shape. Now, quick discussion. Why would we have this happen? Let's talk about farming and corn for just a minute. If you could pick anywhere in the country, so I'm saying this from the United States. So if you could pick anywhere in the United States to grow corn, where would you go? Probably Iowa is near the top of your list. It's the biggest corn producing state of all of the states. Why is that? It's because the conditions there are perfect for corn. They have really deep, really thick, dark, rich, healthy topsoil. They can plant stuff and it will grow. And it will grow a lot. If you can plant in Iowa, you're going to get a ton of corn. Once you fill up your farm in Iowa, you'll have to go to a different state like Illinois or Nebraska, which also are high corn producers. But if you fill those places up with corn, you might have to start going to other places. Maybe Washington State is somewhere along the line. You can grow corn there, just not as good as in Iowa. And maybe it works its way all the way down to a state like Nevada. You can imagine this list. If you ranked them from best to worst, Nevada's probably near the bottom because it's just so much dry, dusty desert. It's not known for its agriculture. Ideally, if we were going to do some farming, our number one state would be Iowa, then Illinois, and skip a few is Washington, and then in dead last would be Nevada. That would be our last choice of the 50 states, probably. I actually know nothing about farming, so if you care to correct me on any of this, please do. So what's the point of this discussion on these states? It's to illustrate a point. And that point is this. First, people will prioritize using their best resources. If you're going to grow corn, start in Iowa. And then, if you decide to give up some corn production, give up your worst land first, which means that you're going to have a lower opportunity cost initially, and that as you give up some corn to produce more motorcycles, opportunity cost will rise as you have to keep giving up better and better land. Because you started by giving up Nevada, which is nearly costless in terms of corn, but as you want to increase motorcycle production, you have to give up better and better land, which leads to these higher and higher opportunity costs. So that's it in a nutshell. I hope that makes sense. If not, you'll have to look somewhere else, try another video, talk to your professor, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy econing.